Namaste. Wherever you at, beautiful Nerika family. I am so happy to just be here in this now with you. And I just hear the notification on my phone. We are live. We are alive. We are sharing from the space of the heart. I'm back here within Oneness. I know you've missed the episode as much as I do. And I did a lot for the past couple of months, but I knew there's a divine timing for everything. And when the season 2 came, the full divine download came, I had to act upon it. And I'm so blessed to start the episode with an incredible being that I would love you to meet shortly. And what is in oneness? And if you are not familiar with the concept, in oneness, where am I? Where am I? Hello, yes, we've gotten people coming in, admitting everybody. We will have a beautiful gathering. We will have a beautiful gathering of beautiful soul joining us in oneness, in this space of pure love, pure sharing from our divine essence. In oneness started with me just with this corona pandemic starts, and it's the blessing of corona, I call it, because a lot of the deepest healing that happened during this time, including sharing our magnificent human experience by calling upon beautiful guests. And in oneness, it's me and you and all of creation. Before I start bringing in my beautiful guests for tonight, starting with episode 1 for this new season, we are blessed, and showers of light and love been showered on humanity, accelerating our journey of ascension, our journey of healing, our journey of remembrance. And here is a little sharing for you. And you dawn upon me, upon you. And you dawn upon me, upon you. Our beloved Gaia, our Mother Earth, ascending, and so are we. Brother Sun, Sister Moon, hold my hand, and together we leap. Our multidimensionality we realize, and we rejoice. We are sovereign whole again, and you dawn upon me, upon you. In oneness, you and I, we gather. Brother Sun, Sister Moon, in the circle of light, meet with me to remember ourselves, one heart, one family, one light, one humanity, one earth. In oneness, we remember, I am all is I. In oneness, the God in me honor the God in you. In oneness, we expand beyond the multiverse. Our star cells we meet, and we remember the origin, the light, the source. In oneness, once more, with ourselves and the bridge we crossed. In oneness, we become the remembrance, we become the Akash. We just be in oneness. In oneness. In oneness. Neje rehette varite ennete neje hete ewer neje. In oneness, beloved, we remember. And tonight, a journey of remembrance with the dearest Venu Murthy, my teacher, my guru, a beautiful being of light among us. Whatever words I say about him, it will not really suffice. All I can say, he is the embodiment of pure unconditional love and the gift he's sharing with humanity through the gifts of the mind and the gifts of the heart, bridging the mind and the heart into this space he called Amarantos Institute, where I got my training last year as a PLRT, past life regression therapist. And I feel so humbled to have him with me tonight to share his journey as a father, as a writer of 2 incredible books, of a person of mind and heart combined, of a person whose spirituality is embodied to the fullest. And he's touched so many lives and he's saved so many lives. And he's with me tonight on the first episode. And I'm so blessed to have you with me, Venu. Please, when you're ready, kindly unmute your microphone. And you are most welcome in our sacred space. We have a couple of guests around us also in the Zoom. And the Rika family joining in Facebook and in YouTube. We are live. And I'll have Venu come forth and just introduce himself to us. Meanwhile, I will check all the technical part and I will make sure we are across all platforms. If you come across our episode tonight, share love and light, share the links with all your friends. The more we share, the more we expand the light, the more we expand the love, and the more we heal. Venu, kindly unmute your microphone and please join me in this sacred space. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Namaste to everyone, actually. This is an Atma Namaskar. And when we say Namaste, actually, it means so beautifully, it means Namahaste. I bow down to the one within you, right? The one within you is the same that is there within me and all of us, actually. So that's such a beautiful, profound way of greeting each other. And I think during Corona times, I think Namaste has also become the status quo, like everybody, no more shaking hands, right? So this has gone around. And I think whenever we do that, it just reminds us that the person who is opposite, who is in front of me, is no other than me, myself. It's again and again reminding ourselves that we are one. And that's the same prayer that Era just had. So that was beautiful. So it's very difficult for me to speak when there is no agenda. So Era told me that there is no agenda for this talk. And no matter which part of the country or which part of the globe, or even maybe if there are extraterrestrials watching us, this is a namaste from me. And in all humility, I bow down to you and I tell you that I am nothing, actually. I don't deserve to be brought on a show or a talk like this. I'm here only to speak about, or me being here is a testimonial of the greatness of the masters. There are so many compassionate masters who have sacrificed so much to actually give us this wealth of knowledge, wealth of wisdom, which using which we can cut short, say, like 8,000 years of our future births, right? Those lessons are already been put in front of us. It's just that everything is cooked and we don't have to go and scavenge for anything in the forest to get things for us. Everything has been cooked and served. All that is required for us to do in today's age is just to eat the meal and relish the meal actually. And the meal being the meal of the soul, the meal of spirituality, like the master's last supper. So this is the last, this could be our last supper actually of earth, where uh, if we do the things right, we don't have to come back and live a miserable earthly existence again. There are divine people like Era, and there are so many others like Gita, Jayashree, and all of those people I can see on the call, who have actually not lost themselves to the what is trending in the world actually. They have not lost themselves to running after what the whole world is running after. They are chasing something which their heart is saying, right? We are all, and most of you who are on this call also, I'm sure, are chasing what your heart is saying instead of what your mind or what the world or what your parents or what your neighbors or the majority of the people believe in, right? So we are all on this journey, and once again, I would like to say that there is nothing that I have to speak about myself. My life is interwoven with the grace of so many masters, so many saints, and it is their glory that I would like to present here. If that is okay with this gathering that we have, right? I hope it's okay, Era.
Um, all is beautiful that comes through you. I will tell you that the times have come, and as a humanity, we've really been shaken to awaken, and we have. And once the awakening happens, it's going to take us on this journey of remembering. And I want to tap into remembrance because as we remember, we are shifting timelines for ourselves and for the collective. What is so significant about remembrance for Venu?
All right. So the thing is, so like we have remembrance, right? So let's talk about this. Now there are so many scientists who have done a lot of work on this front. Like one of our contemporaries, Dr. Rupert Sheldrake, who calls this collective remembrance, right? All that we remember together as a consciousness. Like in Sanskrit we call it the Virat, right? The manas of the Virat, if we can say. That is what is the Chidakasha. He calls it the morphogenic resonance actually. So it is a simple example of where suddenly there is a shift in the way the organisms work actually. Like for example, suddenly something starts trending, like in fashion you can say, right? Or you can see that there was a study conducted of a set of monkeys in a very isolated island who used to go and suddenly they started washing the roots of one of the particular plant that they were eating. So within a few days, it was also observed that there was another set of monkeys in another isolated island where they also started doing this actually, right? And then you also see that there are some butterflies, there are some birds, like this new set of generation who knows the migratory path from where they have to go from this place to this place. It's not like some or the salmon fish and all this. So if we go on saying, there is a collective consciousness into which all of us are pouring in our thoughts and our karma, right? So that is remembrance. And if you see, that's what our Edgar Casey, right? He's my hero. He named it as Akasha. Yeah, of all the words he could have named it, he named it as Akasha actually. So this is coming from Chidakasha. Chidakasha is the shell in which the first reality is printed, right? And then it manifests into this world. So he used this word. So remembrance, I think, is the most important thing for a man. What is a man actually? If you take a man, what is a man? Man is nothing but his beliefs and his possessions. Now where does his beliefs come from? Whatever he remembers having heard from his parents, from his wherever he grew up, right? So remembrance is such a vital thing. And then like Guru Nanak also said, right, the most important spiritual sadhana is smaran, where smaran is remembering the name of God, remembering the name of your Lord. So remembrance is, in my opinion, is the whole world itself. It is the most important thing. It is what I am, it is what you are actually. I remember my name. Many of the people nowadays do not clearly understand what is meant by being in the now. They say that, why should I remember the past? Because for me, I want to be in the now. Now the thing is, until those past, the shackles of the past are chaining us, we cannot actually be in the now. We will either be shackled to the past, or we are shackled to the future, right? So the thing is, now this remembrance which is there, we need to remember what is actually supposed or worthy of being remembered, and let go of what doesn't need to be remembered, or learn from what are our bad or undesirable experiences, and then learn the lessons, and then just let go of those memories, right? So that is
So is learning the lesson, is learning the lesson kind of just by acknowledging it? So like you remember it, you acknowledge it, and then you embrace it, and it's gone from your timeline in a way. Is it this easy? Is it that simple?
No, it's not simple actually. It is not simple, because the thing is, I know that life is not really as simple as it seems. And it's not like I'm talking in from a place where I'm sitting in a mahogany tower and I'm just blind to all the suffering of people. No, we all have our own challenges actually. And the beauty of these challenges are that it's like this actually. The father, right? If father and the small son, like say 5-year-old, they go to a supermarket. Now the father has a big trolley and the son has a small trolley. Now father is not going to give him a big trolley because he cannot handle that amount of load, right? He will always give him a small trolley which he can handle, and he's also going to put only those things which the child can actually carry. So if that is with a father who is human, what about our heavenly father, right? He is going to give us only those challenges which we can actually handle. It might seem that they're overpowering, it might seem that we might not survive these challenges, but I've always seen, and I've always experienced that you can actually confront every single challenge that is there in front of you. And the most important thing is, statistically, 95% of the disasters or the calamities or the bad things that we imagine might never happen. It's only the 5% that will happen. So the whole thing that we fear is our own projection actually. What we fear is not see, the thing is, there is hardly anyone who dies of hunger in this world. And, okay, there are a few countries where there are very few, but compare it to the population of this world. There are so many people who die in air crash, cancer, AIDS, but you will hardly find anyone dying of hunger. So what I mean is, there is a divine mechanism which is at play. And even this person who is there behind me, right? This, the most noblest Buddha, the most intelligent, in my opinion, Buddha was the most intelligent person. He was the most accomplished person in this world. Even his horoscope told that, foresaw that actually. But he believed in karma. Now, what is karma? Karma is again something which we have sowed, and we have to reap now, right? Now the thing is it all like they say, right, juggernaut, right? Is karma like the big wheel of that Jagannath Rath, which will crush anybody that comes below it? It's not like that actually. Karma is never an act of retribution. Karma is given to us, just like the father will give this amount of work or this amount of challenges to the son or to the daughter to make them enabled. Karma is like that actually. It's like a father and a mother giving the task to a child. It is never an act of retribution, it is never to punish. Karma is always for us to learn the lesson. And I have myself seen that we say that this is Jada Chaitanya, right? Jada Chaitanya is this gross world. But and the Chidakasha is the subtle part of this gross world. But then I have myself experienced that when we change the way we think, and we invoke that divine grace into whatever we want. Now, the divine, how do we invoke divine grace? Never, it's my personal experience that when we want to invoke divine grace, it should never be to ask them to solve this problem for you. If you are facing a challenge, if you're facing a situation, we should never pray to God saying, no, please solve this for me, please do this for me, please do that. If we start doing that, and I'm going to give you so much, like we start bribing God also, right? So the thing is, um, the divine grace, the way it works is, it doesn't want us to beg it to solve our problems. It wants us instead to pray for strength. It wants instead for us to pray for the intelligence that using which we can overcome that situation. Because this karma or this God that is there is actually wanting us to learn from whatever life experiences that are coming. So it's like, if even if you are the son of a headmaster of a school, you cannot bypass the examination. Maybe your father is the headmaster. Maybe until 10th standard he will do something and he will start promoting you and getting you even say distinction 90, 100%. But what about the 11th standard and 12th standard, where the headmaster or the principal of that college will be different, right? So we don't learn anything if we just pray for just removing any suffering that we are experiencing. But during these tough times, during these trying times, the best thing for us to do is just sit down, relax, close your eyes, and think, what is it that my Heavenly Father would want me to learn from this experience? What is it that I am not?
I would like to, Venu, to relate what you're sharing with us now, but the karma and the experiences to past life regression, since you have started Amarantos Institute uh, as such a like it saves lives. I can tell you, it's such an interesting and important a gift you're giving to humanity and to all seekers who are ready to just dive deeper into whether we're going to call it therapy or healing, but it is a divine service to whoever in need. So you're talking from a spiritual perspective about the karma and our lessons. How can you relate it to past life regression, since you are the expert on the matter?
Okay, so I am not an expert. Luckily, we have so many experts there, like Dr. Brian Weiss and Dr. Raymond Moody, our own Edgar Casey, and so many of them who have contributed so much to this field. Like I said, they cook the meal. We are just eating it. We are just we are redistributing this. Actually, I would say that we are in the best of the times, and one of the things is I will just present to you my life experience so that you can understand how glorious a time this is, and how wonderful we can utilize all this technology for our own good, for the common good of so many people. And so to start with, I'm an engineer by profession. I have done massive projects. I have consulted big companies, like the second biggest retailers in the world. And I was a globetrotter. There were times when I wouldn't sleep on the same bed for more than 3 days. I would be all over the globe, moving around and doing all these things. But later on, I have realized that it didn't give me the satisfaction that I want, because what we do as consultants or as engineers is to consume the earth faster. So that's when I wanted to reroute. And the thing happened that we had an encounter with reincarnation in my own family. And my daughter is a reincarnation of my uh, brother-in-law who was murdered. So there are so many such things. I don't know if I should tell all those things and bore you to death, or uh, but
These are not the boring, these are the juice of the episode, because we are awakening to I am soul, and then to have accounts of incarnation from different people, not only from reading it from books or just reading it as a concept. It really brings to us, yes, I am a human being. I live in just a human body. It is my vessel, but yet I am a soul, and I choose to come back, to incarnate, to finish up what I came here for. So this is bring us to the circle of karma and the lessons that we choose as when we come to earth, or to
mm,
experience here. The experience here is magnificent. Even we call our life suffering, struggles, the heavy load, the illness, but when we talk about it, even with the most difficult experiences, it's gonna bring us to this realization: I am magnificent. My
yes,
life is magnificent, and I realized through this magnificent, I am a divine being. I am a soul living this a human life, and I've got to experience because I have chosen to come here to experience. So I
yes.
would love to hear your story on the reincarnation and how it led you to shift from being an engineer to a therapist, past life regression therapist, please.
All right. So my journey begins from early. The earliest I can remember is my mother has been is a very devoted person. I have seen her doing all the religious stuff very religiously, following all the customs and all those things. And then my dad is a very honest man. He was in the Indian Army. So I grew up in a very good environment where there's so much of love, so much of respect. uh, they, it's strange for me to even imagine why they would respect me, who was so young, but still they always believed, they always respected me. And they also, there was a time when I woke up when I was 13 years old. I was just there was a time, it might sound ridiculous to you, but I'm telling you, honestly, with all my honesty, I'm telling you that I have played with God in flesh and blood. Actually, if there is somebody who doesn't believe in God, I'm telling you, God is real. He or she will take the form that you want, and they can come down to whatever level that you want them to come. It's and the thing is, the most beautiful thing is, as a child we are more learned than as we grow up. Actually, as a child we come as a pure soul, no more, no conditioning, no conditions there. There is, somebody tells you there is God, you just believe actually that there is God, and he will come and play with you actually. So that's where all my spiritual journey has begun. So I'm sharing this, not taking pride in that. I'm just sharing this because there is people are so confused. They think, and there are so many people who want to capitalize on people's superstitious beliefs, who want to make a business out of this whole thing. But I am telling you that you don't need any middleman between you and that super consciousness, right? You are the same child that any the greatest saint that has walked on this earth. You are no less, right? Like Jesus said that for a shepherd, even if one sheep has gone missing, he's not going to sleep peacefully that night. He will hunt it, he will hunt for it. Even if he has 1000 sheep, he is going to go in search of that sheep. So luckily my first school was the Good Shepherd. So I was his sheep. And So there has been a lot of grace. I grew up in the Assam, the green mountains in the Assam region where my dad was posted. It was amazing. My childhood was just amazing. Lot of When I look back, I feel I was so lucky to have so many spiritual experiences. But then as we moved on, when the world, I was in the army school, very rigorous training, right? They want each and everyone in that school to be an army officer. So a lot of discipline, lot of uh, punishment, and so many other things. They just drilled it deep inside. And then there was a time when I was 10 years old, and my cousins had taken me for swimming. I would love the water, and this was in the summer holidays when we were in Bangalore. And I had gone to the swimming pool, and I trusted one of my cousin sister who was just a little elder than me. And she said, "Okay, you come to the deeper side of the pool. I'll teach you how to swim." And I was eager, right? I was 10 years old. How much brain can I have? So I just went with her, and suddenly both of us, I was sinking like stones. Actually, I just hugged her, desperate and scared that I'm going to drown. And even she couldn't swim. And then I don't know what happened. For a long time, I had lost consciousness. And then there is this coach who sprang in, and he seems to have pulled me out, and he rescued my sister in my cousin sister. And so that was, I feel, my first encounter with what is called as a near death experience. This is the first time I'm sharing this in the public, and it's only with
That's
the
very
intention.
interesting. That's very interesting.
So
As someone who's read hundreds, tons of books and has written about it, and you now remember it, how do you relate to the remembrance and how it is happening within you? Like the feelings that's coming through it, that memory, where was it stored? You know, like it always intrigues me when these stories come, and how many, at many depths of the layers, we have stored emotions and memories. So please, I'm so looking forward to hear more of the story.
thank you, Era. Thank you so much. So, so that was, I feel, my first encounter that with nothing ends with this body. Actually, we are much beyond this body, much beyond this. And from then, I have always been in search of something else. This is not it. This is not the everything. Having a house, having getting good marks, having a lot of wealth. This is not the end of it. There is something more. That quest actually led me to asking my dad on one Sunday morning. We were in Bangalore then, 13 years old. I just woke up and I said, I want Bhagavad Gita today. I want it now. And we are not Brahmins, so poor man, he didn't know what is the Bhagavad Gita and where we will find it also. So he took me to all the stores. It being a Sunday, most of the bookstores where we used to buy our school books were actually closed. But somehow he just kept searching, and finally we found one in Chinmaya Mission, which is right next to our house. And we had never been to that place prior to that. So that was my beginning. Actually, I read the Bhagavad Gita. I don't know, like a 13-year-old, what he would have understood, I still can't figure out. But there was some inexplicable joy that used to come on reading that. And then I read the Upanishads, and then I was doing very well in my school also. I was the favorite of almost all my teachers. And I used to study only to gain knowledge, never for the marks. And I used to enjoy whatever I used to do. And then I came across this book by Joseph Murphy, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And that was like, imagine a nuclear weapon that has been given to a small child, right? Suddenly you could see that you could actually change the world outside just by being able to think. Actually, sometimes prior to that, I was experimenting with reverse psychology, where you think the opposite of what should happen to you. And I was seeing it work. And then this book, right, the Dr. Joseph Murphy's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, was mind boggling book, he had so systematically put this phenomenon of yat manaha tad bhavaha, right? Whatever, so this, whatever was there in the Eastern psychology, right? I don't call this mythology. For me, the Upanishads and all is not mythology. The Bible, the Upanishads is not mythology. It is real. It has happened, and these are as true as the scientific principles that we are using, right? The continuation of soul, which is known as metempsychosis, was given to us by Pythagoras. Now, if Pythagoras theorem is working for us to design these houses and buildings and all still, then why would his concept of the continuity of soul not work, right? So this was like a beautiful time when I have discovered all this, that it's working, it's written in books, it is what is there in our Upanishads, it's what is there in our Gita. And then uh, it so happened that I just got a good job. First company was Infosys, and it's a dream come true for any engineer who wants to go and have an engineering practice. And lots of money, lots of traveling, everything was amazing in my life. And then my mother had a kind of a illness, and she was getting treated in Command Hospital, the one in Bangalore. She was to get operated for a tumor, and they wanted someone to donate blood. So my dad is scared, though he's from the army. He didn't volunteer, so it's in exchange. I give blood to the blood bank, and they give blood for my mother's operation. And so my brother-in-law also didn't agree to it. My sister was it was out of question, because she's generally very scared of all these things. So I volunteered for the first time in my life. I was going to donate blood. So I just sat in the chair, and I just sat, and then my dad was here, I think, and he put the needles and everything, and the blood just started flowing out into those tubes, and it was just going in. And he the doctor, I think my dad was very in a state of shock, looking at that blood and all these things. So I think just to console my dad, the doctor was like, "Oh, this is very pure blood," or something like that, he said. And I just zoned out. Actually. I just lost full consciousness, and I don't remember what was happening outside. And it was like I am in a room, and it's like the hue of the room is orangish, and I am actually trying to open a door, and there is a person, like there is a small. He's a cute, like a demon kind of a person with two horns and one tail, and he's coming and he's pushed me back. Actually, he pushed me back from opening that door. And then when I come back, I'm seeing the doctor is scared, he's shocked, and then there's blood all over the place, because when we zone out, or when we lose consciousness, when we go unconscious, I think the pressure, there's a loss of pressure, and the blood doesn't flow into the needle, it flows all over the place. So he was just wiping it off, and my dad is so scared. And but I had a beautiful experience, actually. It was so difficult for me to come back into this world of reality. It gave me a headache also, actually. So this was my second encounter with what I came to know from Dr. Raymond Moody, that he is the one who coined this word called near death experience. Near death, the person seems like he's clinically dead for some time, but then he comes back, and he on restoring the life in that person, right? They are able to remember things which uh, is not scientifically possible. So I'll give you a simple example. Dr. Raymond Moody talks about a lady who had a heart stroke, and the surgeons and all these people came, and they tried to resuscitate her with all that electric shock and all those things. And then they just she was fine. I mean, she was brought back to life. The body was clinically dead for a few seconds or minutes, I don't remember, but she was restored. She was moved to the ward, and the next morning the doctor goes to do the general checkup, and he goes to her and he asks her, like, how are you feeling and all this stuff. And she says, I'm fine, but my son, yesterday you dropped the pen, and it is at that particular place. When you're working on me, you dropped your pen there. And the doctor was shocked because she was blind from birth, right? She couldn't see, the physical apparatus of sight wasn't there in her body. But at the time of this near death experience, she was able to see that he had dropped his pen a little far away. So there is a way in which you can actually float above, and you can witness the happenings of this body itself. So this was a beautiful experience for me, where Era, say
Yes, I'm
something.
here. I'm here. Yeah. There's a little bit background music because we have a wedding in the family here. So
Wonderful.
yeah, I just want, I've been muting myself so the music
Okay.
is not distracting. I wanted to ask you, I
Hmm.
wanted to just comment a little bit on the near death experience. And you said like we when we're out of the body, we're like pure consciousness and we can see and we're aware of everything that's happening. But let's say like what brings us back into the body?
Very nice.
As a
Beautiful.
soul, we're out. We're just
Yes.
ready
Yes.
to merge with the light. But what
Yes.
brings us back?
Yes.
If it's a
Beautiful.
fraction of a second or a few minutes.
Beautiful. What a wonderful question, actually. So, if we see the in the light of the Upanishads speak about the Panchakosha. It says that it's like a Panchakosha. Kosha means a bag. Actually, it's a bag over inside a bag inside a bag. It's like something wrapped inside each other, right? So it's like a lampshade. Imagine there is a light, then there is a lampshade around it, then there is another lampshade around it, then there is another lampshade around it. There are 5 concentric lampshades around this light, and those are called Panchakosha. The Panchakosha, the 5 koshas are the Annamaya kosha, which is the body actually, right? The body in itself cannot do anything, because if it could do, you could just take food and water and put it into a dead body, and it's supposed to just get up and then do its activity. But that doesn't happen. Why? Because the next kosha powers this kosha, the Annamaya kosha. What is that kosha which powers it? We call it the prana actually. The Pranamaya kosha is the electricity. The electricity is actually what runs these fans and all these things, right? So this prana means there are the 5, right? Prana, apana, vyana, samana, and udana. So there are 5 currents in this body which actually make it function. Now, if we go further back, now, what about the who runs these pranas? What is there inside this pranamaya kosha? You see the manomaya kosha, the mind actually. Now, when we die, we actually just give away only the annamaya kosha and the pranamaya kosha. But the manomaya kosha, which still feels that I was this, that remembrance, right? That is the manomaya kosha that continues to exist. And why does that exist? That exists because of unfulfilled desires, which we call as the vasanas. That you can also call as our subconscious mind. And inside that, you see the Vijnanamaya kosha. The Vijnanamaya kosha is the discriminatory power within us, which says, this is not neti, the one which says, this is not it, this is not it, this is not it, this is not it. And means this is not the soul. This laptop or this lampshade or this whatever is not the soul. There is something else. So that is the Vijnanamaya kosha, which is the pure viveka that is there within us. Now I am not able to translate this into exact English words, but then if you go still more deeper, we have the Anandamaya kosha actually. The Anandamaya kosha is the last kosha around the Atman. Now, Atman, if you can imagine it as the light, Anandamaya Kosha is the light around it, or that first lampshade around it. And its nature is bliss. So what is the nature of our Atman? So beautifully summarized. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Just the three. Sat. It is eternal actually. Where is time when there is, like, suppose there is no sun? How will we measure time? The time is something, is the first movement actually. Right? Time. And Einstein, through his theory of relativity, said time and space is one. So Sat actually, Sat means that alone exists actually. We cannot even say it is eternity, because again, eternity means an infinite line. It is beyond time actually. What is there beyond time? That alone exists. Sat, Chit. And how do you feel it? It is Chaitanya Swarupa. It has this, it is Chaitanya actually. It has this beautiful. And how do we feel Chaitanya? We feel it in the form of awareness. We feel it in the form of intelligence. We feel it in so many ways. Now this beautiful being, that Sat Chit Ananda, which is like the wave on the ocean actually. In the wave of consciousness, so in the ocean of consciousness, when there is no winds, there is nothing, there are no waves also. It is just, we cannot say it is still actually, it is motionless. The first motion in this ocean, which creates the wave, is the wind of desire. Right? That's what he said. The Buddha said, everything begins, dukkha comes from desires. And desires come
Venu,
because, yes, Sarah.
that brings me to this second question. For
Ah,
someone like you who was brought up as a military son, of a military man, and been in military school, so disciplined, so right-minded, so analytical, going into engineering, like so much of like your right brain, and now you're so much submerged in spirituality. How did you find the balance? How were you able to?
yes.
How were you able to balance the right and the left brain, the heart and the mind? We can talk till tomorrow, and it's never because you want to, like, to me, I look up at you as one of those people who's in total balance of the what spirituality, depth of spirituality, understanding through the Bhagavad Gita and your own personal experience
Yes.
and your upbringing, like so much of conditioning, yet
Hmm.
so much of consciousness. How did this blend
You
happen?
said it, Era. You said it. The mother is Bhagavad Gita, actually. She is my mother, right? She is my first mother. She taught me how to balance it out. Where there is a beautiful thing, Bhagwan says, with sannyasa, you will attain nothing, actually. With sannyasa means just renunciation. You're not going to attain anything, he says. You're going to attain everything by nishkama karma. Without that seed of desire, without the stench of desire in our activities, you're going to attain everything. Bhagavan says that in Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is the bridge actually, and the most amazing thing. Like, it's normal actually. My mother wouldn't let me keep Bhagavad Gita at home at times. They wouldn't, because that is all for when you're 60 years old. Now it's not for now. For now you have to study well, you have to do this thing. But Bhagavad Gita is like, imagine someone like Emerson says that if he's left in an island and if he's allowed to choose only one book, it will be the Bhagavad Gita, the most predominant philosopher that the world can ever produce. Like an Emerson says that. So there is so much in that packaged, where it says that this is not for you to sit in Himalayas and do nothing and attain anything. Everything actually, I am, with my humble experience, I want to share with everyone here that if we live every moment of our life as a student who wants to learn from this experience that the life is bringing in front of us, and trust me, we are going to progress so many lifetimes in this one lifetime itself. Every moment we have to just take it in the right way. Never ever we should feel that why did this happen to me, why did this happen to me. Because in a forest, if a person is lost in a forest, there are two types of people who are lost in a forest. Let's say there is a type A and there is a type B. Now, out of these two types, do you know the person who survives and comes out alive is a person who is never going to repent about the past, who is never going to think that why did I come into this forest? Why did I get into this? No, the person who has this acceptance. All right, I am in this forest now. All right, I am in this situation now, but then I am going to find my way out. Now this person who can say this is actually going to come out of this forest of life actually. So the whole thing is, never, Bhagavad Gita, or even for that matter, if you take someone who's the topmost Advaiti, in my humble opinion, like Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi, he hasn't asked us to renounce anything actually. He says, go on with your life. Go on with your life the way it is. Because I'll tell you, if you cannot love your family, like your mother, your father, whoever lives around with you, then how are you going to love people who are complete strangers? Right? That's the reason you see many people get disillusioned when they renounce the whole thing and then they go and live in an ashram. Then they see that in the world people are fighting for money, but then in the ashram people are fighting for their petty needs, for their petty desires, for their petty things actually. So the best thing is, like Sri Ramakrishna also says, is be happy wherever your mother has placed you. Mother knows where you should be. Mother knows what is the next best thing that should be done for you. So if we can live in that surrender, but at the same time carry on with our life in the way that Bhagavan would want us to carry on, or your own conscience, Bhagavan, or whatever is that higher consciousness want you to live, you can actually come out of a lot of situations, and you can actually uh, uh, then, like Sri Ramakrishna says, first you will come as a student to the school, right? And then you will learn. But then you can come back to the school again as a teacher. But in the same samsara, you come back when you come as a student, then you have to do your duties as a student. But then once it is done, then you come back as an angel. You come back as a person who can lift someone else up. And so that is the thing, Era. So Bhagavad Gita is the scripture which was given in the battlefield of life, right? In a battlefield, Bhagavan is asking you, Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha. Bhagavan says that means you fight this battle thinking of me. Keep me in your heart and you fight. Now that is not easy. It is not easy. It is very difficult because we all have our own challenges. We all have our own trying times. And but then trust me, everything is possible because like
Exactly. Because
mother
we've come here to experience. We have
yes,
come here to experience, and
yes,
as we allow the experience and the flow of life to just effortlessly happen, and life manifest for us. You said a very interesting line as the conversation was going. That as we are become aware of ourselves, we can live many lifetimes in one. How can you relate that to past life regression? And you were saying
okay.
we cannot be entangled in the past and we cannot be entangled in the future. We have to be in the now. Yet you are a therapist, I am, and most of the beautiful people joining here in the Zoom, they have been in the institute with you, and we've learned to be the therapists who take people to the past.
Hmm.
And how can we live lifetimes now?
Yes. So now the thing is, one thing is, many people say that karma, like karma, right? Now it all brings us back to that word karma. Now the karma is a scientific word in my opinion. It's the effect, it's the learning that comes out. Now the thing is, but, so if you see the Vedanta has actually gone into depth about anything, and it specializes actually. For us, it will say it's not just karma. There are three types of karma, it will say. It will say you have prarabdha karma, you have sanchita karma, you have agami karma, right? So prarabdha, so let's imagine that what is the sanchita karma. Sanchita karma, imagine a person who is about to shoot an arrow, like a hunter, right? He has this bag of arrows behind it. That is the sanchita karma, means the accumulated karma that a soul carries. And then what is the agami karma? Agami karma is that which is about to be launched. It's the deployed thing actually. The arrow has been taken by the hunter. He has just put it on the bow and he is about to fire now. And then you have the prarabdha actually. Prarabdha is the arrow which has already been shot. It's heading towards its target. Now there is a big debate between the greatest scholars of this world who says that what about this karma can like they say no, what is written here cannot be changed. You cannot change your karma. They say all these things, but then there is also a school of thought which says that this sanchita karma which is there, like the bag of arrows which is there, the hunter, now this hunter is like, you can think of it as vidhata actually. Vidhata means the vidhi is the fate. If you say vidhata is the one who gives you your fate actually. So it is not, now the thing is, this is not coming from a normal person. Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi has told that the ordainer of our karma is vidhata actually. It's a very intelligent process. There is karmana, gahano karmana gatihi. Bhagavan says that in Bhagavad Gita. It means that karma is actually very complicated. It's not very linear. It's not a linear thing. You did this, so this happened. You did that, so this happened. It doesn't work like that. It's a very complicated thing. It's as complex as our body. Now, the thing is, Bhagwan Ramana Maharishi says that Vidhata is the one who ordains the karma. So he's like in the bank account of our karma, what is it that you're going to withdraw for this lifetime is actually given by the Vidhata. Now, the most beautiful thing is, so they say that, okay, the hunter, the Vidhata, chooses not to shoot these arrows anymore. He becomes compassionate towards this deer or you, who is the target. And then Agami also, he chooses not to fire this arrow. He says, okay, let me go with this. But what about the arrow in motion, which has already been fired? Now that is called the prarabdha karma. Now the most beautiful thing is, Bhagavan says that in Bhagavad Gita, that he says that karma can reduce, jnanagnihi sarva karmani bhasmasat kurate. Bhagavan says that. It means that the power of knowledge can reduce to ashes even mountains of karma that we might have. So beautiful, right? Even if it's a mountain of karma that we all have, imagine it's a cotton mountain and you just put
Wow.
one spark there, the whole thing just
That's
gets
why
destroyed.
we go past life regression,
Yes.
and
Now
we
the
just
thing is, yes,
tap into that
yes,
mountain of unresolved karmas, all
yes,
unresolved stories. And it's like, as you said, it just once you tap on it, you acknowledge it, and kind of it gets transmuted.
yes,
And that's what fascinates me about past life regression. Even before I felt drawn to go for the course myself,
mhm,
because also from my personal experience, since childhood, I've been in many realities. Living in Lebanon, and then when I close my eyes, I go into that spare place where I'm running in this small little a little pink city, which I found out it's a Jaipur. And
okay,
you know I was kind
yes,
of puzzled. Where am I? Am I really living here? Am I in this body, or am I that one? So it just like always puzzled me, these little stories that we carry within and we don't understand, and it's never linear. We're always spiraling, and the memories are surfacing. And it's very fascinating. Actually, we are getting towards the end of our time, but we can still go a little bit further,
Oh,
because
you
I
can
want to
already
ask you
continue.
about something I read
Uh,
on
uh,
your website.
uh,
You said in the description of your book and books and stuff, so it was saying like
uh,
the power of past life regression is that you help humanity, you help people to find themselves, and there's a story that you help the whole family from committing suicide or something. If you would like to share a little bit about this story with us.
So this is about a person who has lost their son, and they are looking at, they're not able to accept this situation, and they want to end their life. But then now the thing is, because we are moving towards the end of this time, one of the most important thing I want to highlight is that past life regression is one of the methods with which you can actually uh, resolve or reframe the past, actually, or you can let go or learn from it and then just let go. And now the thing is, it is not something which has just come out of the blue. Past life, there is a mention of past life regression by our Patanjali Maharishi, mentioned it 8,000 years ago in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which is the authoritarian scriptures on yoga. Actually, the yoga is nothing but the union of the, you can say, the conscious with the unconscious, right? The drop with the ocean, this small mind with the magnanimous mind, right? That's the oneness. That is yoga, actually. So he said this is one of the methods, right? Where the samskaras, which are very sukshma, with the help of a concentrated mind, you can actually focus on it, and then you can just destroy it. Now see, the simple way in which it works is like this. Suppose you tell a small child that some particular thing should not be done. Now the child listens to you, very obedient, and listens to you. There will be a first category of child who doesn't even need to be told that something should not be done. They are self-propelled, self-disciplined. They will just not even get into some of these naughty things. But then when you tell the child not to do it, they will also obey you, and they will not have the beating or the thrashing that's supposed to be given for them to be disciplined. Then there will be another set of children, you tell them repeatedly, but then they need a thrashing, actually. Then only then this lesson is going to go into their mind. So there are different type of people. Now the thing is, it's not something like see, the thing is, what I don't like about this past life regression and all this thing is the huge commercialization that is going around it, actually. What I am saying is that this is an intervention. It can be done. You can be healed by a person whose motives are pure. And all right, there is an energy exchange that has to happen. You have to keep the lights on. So for those things, it's fine. But then it should never be with the motive of just making more and more money. Because what happens is, as a therapist, we start adding to our own karma. We start adding to our bad karma if our motives are misplaced. So the most important thing is, I'm nowadays of the opinion that past life regression therapy is one of the methods. There are so many other methods people are an expert in. As an engineer, I wouldn't believe in shamanic healing, but today I believe in it. I believe in Reiki. I believe in so many alternative therapies that are there. But the bottom line is, what is the motive of the therapist for doing this? If the motive is in the right place, then whatever might be the method of intervention, it is going to work. Even if it is allopathy, it will work. That is what I would like to highlight. And the most important thing is, suppose I am someone who doesn't want to go for a past life regression therapy. How do I heal myself? There is a method, and the method is meditation. The lackluster word people fear, people don't want to do, people want to do everything is meditation is the key. Actually, meditation is, like they say, no, the kamadhenu. Actually, it is the kamadhenu, means it is that milch cow, the wish fulfilling milch cow, which will give you everything that you want. So meditation is the key. Now when Bhagwan says that jnanagnihi sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute, Bhagwan is saying that what is the jnana I need to attain? Now that jnana is nothing but, like Dr. Branwes in his book Through Time into Healing, he says, how does PLRT heal someone? It heals the person by getting to first hand experience that they are beyond the body, they are beyond the mind. The taste of immortality is what actually starts the healing process for this person.
Wonderful, wonderful. There's a question for you.
Okay.
You were saying how knowledge can transform a mountain of karma. How can knowledge can transform the mountain
Yes.
of karma you talked about?
Now the Vidya, there are so many Vidya. Again, like I said, Upanishads, the Vedanta has dwelled very deeply into it, and they're masters of generalization. They're so beautifully said. There are two types of Vidya. One is the Para Vidya, and there is the Apara Vidya. And means the one which is the the greatest of the knowledge, right? That is the Paravidya. And then they say there is the Aparavidya, which is the material knowledge, actually, which is not of the soul. And the beautiful thing is, in that Aparavidya, they also include this Upanishads, they include all the scriptures also. They say that, see, just by reading the weather forecast, or you're not going to, just by seeing the map of a place, you're not going to get a feel of it. So they say the Paravidya is something which you can attain only by studying yourself, by studying your mind. And for that, the most important thing is to make time, to have a place where you can just sit and dwell within yourself. And so that is how we begin this knowledge. To attain the knowledge, we can read 1,000 books, we could become masters. There is a person who wrote a thesis on such thick thesis on the Maya, and then he dedicates that to his wife, right? So the thing is, we could, so even Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya, the greatest scholar that walked, he said Shabda Jala Maharanya. He says that this words itself can become a big forest in which we can lose ourselves. So how does a mountain of karma get destroyed, is the question. So the most beautiful thing I'll tell you is, suppose there is millions and millions and millions and billions or trillions of dollars in your account, and you die. You don't have to, that's over, right? It's not accountable to you anymore. Or let's take it in a different way, like if you have trillions and trillions of dollars of debt and you die, it's over. So everything is tied to that first thought, which is the I. The first movement in that Chidakasha, in that consciousness, is the I, actually. So when you sit down, make time, sit down and try to trace the thoughts. Start going back, going back, going back, going back, going back, going back, going back. You will find that I, actually. That I is the account holder. All the loan or whatever is there, that I is supposed to experience it. That I is
brings us back to meditation. That brings us back to meditation. I'm saying that to bring us back to meditation.
Yes. And the most important thing I have seen is the healing is there. All right. See, suppose someone is obese, they are very fat, right? Now the thing is, most of the time it could be because of their lifestyle, the kind of food they like, the kind of something, or genetic issue. Also, let us assume that there might be a genetic issue. Now the thing is, suppose they go for liposuction, where there is, through an intervention, they suck out all the this thing from the belly. They remove all the belly fat. They stitch them up, they look very smart, they go buy new clothes and they're having a new look and everything. But how long is that going to sustain? Not for long, right? Very soon, within maybe 3 4 years, if they don't change the lifestyle, if they don't do the right things even after this intervention, they are going to go back for another liposuction, right? So what I'm trying to say is, when there is an intervention, like from a therapist and from in whatever modality, 100% you will get the result if the therapist has done the right things for you. But then the most important thing is the change in our lifestyle. We have to change the way we live. Our success depends upon the routine, the daily routine that we have. We could be the masters at giving speeches. We could have gone for hundreds of Reiki sessions, hundreds of past life regression therapy sessions, hundreds of whatever. But then the impact of all this, to sustain the impact and to go from there, is only possible when we, for ourselves, are going to make the time to sit with ourselves and to explore ourselves. And exploring ourselves is to understand who I am actually. Who is this account holder? Trust me, I have read all the books, I have read all the biographies, I have read so much in the past 25 years. But then my the I feel that my search comes to an end with Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi's teachings, where he says, find out who you are. Who are you? Who are you? Try to find out who you are. Now, that's not a repetitive question. Just sit. And then, if your mind is not focused, if your mind is not able to concentrate on anything, that's fine. Remember, that it's like a triangle. Dhyana is like a triangle. Dhyana is one of the, in Ashtanga Yoga, right? Patanjali Maharishi's Ashtanga Yoga, we have this thing where, see, the thing is, my aim is not to sell you past life regression therapy or anything like that. What I believe in is, I want you to get something out of this call, and I'm desperate for you to be able to take something which you can practice every day and do this for yourself, right? Because today you might have a phobia of water. Now, once the therapist clears that, you might get something else. Now, I don't want to create that dependency. I want you to learn. I don't want to donate a fish to you, but I want you to teach you fishing, and so that you are capable to do it on your own. So in that way, dhyana is the way. Now, dhyana comes in the Ashtanga Yoga, right? 8 limbs of yoga. One of the limbs is, it starts with yama, niyama, the external disciplines, the internal, how you're disciplined. Asana, right? Sitting. Asana, should I sit in Padmasana? Not required. Just sit in whatever way is comfortable for you. Even if it's like hanging upside down, right? Like a bat, that's fine. But if you are comfortable, just do it. Asana. Then, what do you do after asana? Prana, right? You want to focus on your pranayama, pratyahara, right? Pranayama is, you want to be able to observe those forces which help you to breathe. Breathing is one of the main things. Like, what is the difference between a dead body and a alive person is the breath, right? It clearly shows us, it's the grossest manifestation of life. So prana lets us breathe, and the most beautiful thing is, the source of our breath, the energy to breathe, and the source of where our thoughts come from are the same actually. They are the Shakti, right? They are coming from the same source. So if you can control, or if you can be mindful of your breath, very soon you're going to be mindful of your thoughts. And what you can measure, you can manage, they say, right? So when you are able to tap into the source, when you know where the mischief is coming from, it's so easy for you to plug that hole. So when you know that the Shakti is the cause for you to be able to breathe and for you to be able to think, always remember, the breath is the master of your mind, right? Most of you know, right? So if you're not able to focus on anything, focus on your breath. And that's what Buddha said, prana apanasati. You focus on your, the breath that you breathe in and you exhale. breathing in, exhaling. You are not going to breathe. You are observing your breath. And then what you do, you observe the one who is observing this breath. You go one step behind, you go one step behind, you go one step behind, and it's a beautiful journey, trust me. And you are never going to lose. Like Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, mad bhaktana pranashyati, my devotee will never perish. Bhagavan says that. So, and he also says one of the most beautiful thing is that he says, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. Bhagavan says that without Ananyas Chintayanto, without the thought of anything else, Ye Jana Paryupasate, for one who is only in the search of me. Me means, now the thing is, am I different from my God? Not at all, actually. Bhagavan says that in Bhagavad Gita, again he says that Mamayvamsho Jiva Bhuteshu. Bhagavan says that everything, every drop is a part of the ocean. Mamayvamsha, I am his own particle. Now, if someone wants God, right? The shortcut is know yourself, because you are him only. You might be a drop, but that doesn't matter, because the drop is a part of the ocean. So it's a shortcut actually to know by it's like, you can say, it's a back door to the palace of God. Just by knowing myself, I can actually know him.
Yes,
The
what a beautiful depth of the conversation today. I'm very very grateful, Venu, and I'm really I'm so blessed to have had you today on our first episode, and I'm so looking forward for another collaboration. We can't get enough of you, but to be honest, we stretch the time, and we want to keep our viewers looking forward for another interview and a continuation for this incredible talk. And such a blessing to have you among us and here on earth, sharing the teachings and the knowledge and the love and the healing. You know, I know you were too much into this space of love through you, and I know our viewers, if you would like to know more about Venu, Amarantos Institute, Bangalore, and yes, if you are serious seekers, I really advise you to just take the training with Venu. It's been incredible, life changing for me and for a lot of the people who has really been touched by past life regression. Again, it is a mean to open up the doors to the higher consciousness and to remember who we are and tap into the knowledge of who we are so we can explore all those layers around us. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Beautiful.
Thank you. This was amazing. It's an honor. Thank you so much for your time. I know many of you might not even have dinner. Please go ahead and please meditate deeply. And there is so much of help that is there for you. And this is my only request. Please meditate without fail every day, and you will make progress leaps and bounds. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone. Beautiful family, Nerika family. We will see you next Wednesday with a new episode with a new guest. Thank you, thank you, thank you.